Well, this is June the 13th, 2019. I'm John Shaw, a student of ethnomusicology at the University of Memphis. And this is, would you tell us your name, please?
Annie Humphrey.
Annie Humphrey. And we are in the Fredonia community. This is Fayette County, right?
Fayette County.
But we're close to Stanton, which is in Haywood County.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so I'm doing this interview today about Fife and drum bands, particularly the Fredonia Fife and drum band. What can you tell us about it?
That was my father, which was Ben Thompson.
Okay.
And his brother was named Leon Thompson. He was the Fife brother.
So Leon played the fife.
And Ben beat the drum.
Was it a bass drum Ben was playing?
Bass drum.
Was there a kettle drum or snare drum as well?
It was a kettle drum. They had a man that went along with him named Hallie Manson. Beat the small drum.
Yeah, Ben Olsen, the Swedish musicologist, mentioned Hallie Massey back in the 70s. So I know that name. Yeah, so he was the snare drummer.
He was just,
And were all these men from Fredonia or from Stanton or where were they?
Well, right around here in the neighborhood. It was in Mason.
Okay. And this was called the Fredonia Band.
Well, you could say that, but they really didn't just have a public name.
Oh, okay. So it was just kind of
a group.
They formed together for the events. Okay. And now this fife that Leon Thompson blew, was it a homemade fife or was it a manufactured fife?
Manufactured.
So it was metal.
The metal.
Metal fife. Okay. I was curious about that. What were some of the kind of events that they would play for, and were there specific locations and events that they were often at?
They mostly went to picnics, some for school occasion, but out in like a field day for school.
Was it a particular school, like Fields in Mason or Gaylor?
Yeah,
or
Field School was one of the schools named Bernard.
Yeah, I think I know where that is. That's in Fayette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fredonia had a school.
I didn't know that.
In the neighborhood.
I didn't know about that. I knew about Sinai because somebody's
Sinai
living in that as a
school.
house now.
It's a house now.
Yeah.
Then they had a school over here on the Pleasant Grove neighborhood. That school was named, I don't remember Pleasant Grove School. I don't know if it had a name. I can't think of the name of it, but it was over here on Pleasant Grove neighborhood.
And of course, there was a school at Douglas.
Yeah, they went to Douglas. They went to Douglas for field days and things.
And did they ever go to Gaylor?
No.
Yeah. So, were there like big specific picnics that was held every year?
Yeah.
And what were some of the ones that like people look forward to every year, and they would
Douglas
play?
had one for every year.
What was it like in July or August? Or?
I'll say August, but just really I'll just say August. They would have this big, something like a field day, where school used to have them in.
You mean like where the kids were doing the races, 100-yard dash and all of it?
Dances or ball games.
Wow. Yeah. So, like you mentioned ball games, did they ever play up at Zodiac Park north of Mason, the baseball
No, Zodiac then went in rotation back there.
That wasn't the place. There were other ball fields. Interesting. And someone told me there were these bands would play at horse races.
Yeah, some of them did. Daddy did too. At William horse track.
William horse track.
Now, where was that at?
Right down from Fredonia Church, about ain't quite a half a mile from here.
Wow. I guess it's gone, right?
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay. And someone said they played for trade days in Mason. Did you remember?
My daddy didn't, but there was a band that played that. That was Broadnax.
Yeah, I've heard that name many times. Someone said that the man that started that was or ran it was named O.C. Broadnax.
Rose the Broadnax.
One named Olsen and one named Jeff Broadnax.
Jeff
They was
Broadnax.
brothers.
They were brothers.
Wow. And I read somewhere that there was a man named Ples Rivers,
He played with the Broadnax.
and that his son was the blues musician Homesick James in Chicago.
Well, I don't know about his.
Ain't
Yeah.
nobody's son.
son.
Yeah. But so Ples played with the
Broadnax.
Broadnax. Yeah. They were they from Fayette County? Where were?
That's Sinai, around Sinai.
Wow. Okay. But they played a lot in Tipton. Played a lot in
Right,
Mason
right.
and in Haywood too, I guess.
Well, they sung, but not regular.
Now, did your dad's band and their band ever show up at the same events? Were
Yes, they have.
What were some of those kind of events where maybe both bands would be there?
Like at a picnic, like I said, Belmont Church.
Yeah, I heard there were picnics at Belmont Church. The article I have doesn't mention music,
Yeah,
but it
they
mentions that a man shot a deputy sheriff at
did.
Belmont
Church.
and went on the run, and I think went way up north, and they
Way
brought
up
him
north.
back.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it doesn't mention music.
Well, they
But I
were there.
wondered if they would have been out there.
Yeah,
Where was that picnic ground? I know where the church is, but
He was at the
it was
Belmont
at the church.
it was actually at the CME church in
Right.
Belmont. Yeah, wow.
Right.
I wondered about that. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that was one of the locations.
Right.
And you said were there picnics at Sinai? Did they actually do picnics in that area,
I
or?
don't remember
Remember
no
Sinai.
Sinai, but Belmont
Well,
had.
Belmont would have.
And William Chapel
Chapel
had.
have
There's another
had.
church had picnics.
Hey, picnic.
Williams Chapel. Where was?
Chapel.
Well, it might listed at Tucker's Chapel.
Where would that be? Is that still
about
around?
a half a
It's
mile
about
from here.
Mile and a half. Did you ever hear about what Bernard was?
Well, if I'm remember, my phone will show all these little schools, and when you go out there, they're not there.
Well,
Yeah,
they
they
But-
done away.
But
It's
but
they're
the
done
map
away.
still shows them as
But-
if they were
right.
there.
Yeah.
And if a couple of them was. The one next to Pulliam Grove, it's a ruin, but it's still standing.
Yeah.
There's a little church. There's a little school.
Yeah, at Pulliam.
And at Pulliam
Uh-huh.
Chapel, and of course Sinai, somebody's made it into a really lovely home to live in.
Mhm.
And there's one up north of Somerville like that on 76. Same
Yeah.
way, they've made it a house and they're
Uh-huh.
living in it. And I saw one, I think that was Pleasant Grove. There's an old school,
Old school.
off the Yum Yum Road
On
that's
the
sitting
Yum
out there in the
Yum
middle
Road.
of the field.
Right.
Then another one, I think it's supposed to be Garnett School. I got out
That's
there.
the name of the school, Garnett.
Not Garnett was the white school.
Garnett with the white school.
You know all I
Pleasant
found
Grove
over
was the
there?
colored school.
All I
Pleasant
found
Grove
over
with
there,
the color
Yeah.
school.
all I found over there was a swing set frame in the woods.
Uh-huh.
Not a trace of anything. Well, some bricks.
Right.
There's not a trace of the building,
No, the
but when you
building,
do look close,
oh.
there's that swing set frame.
Uh-huh.
That's all that's left.
Mhm.
But there was a school at Reed.
Yeah,
Reed's
Reed's had a school too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's gone.
So they were all next door to churches.
Yeah.
Right.
But then when I interviewed Miles Wilson, he said that picnics were sometimes held at a place called Buford Evans's. Do you know where that would have been?
Yeah, there. I don't know exactly why, but
I don't know what
he had to play.
I don't know.
Yes, I do.
Where?
That's off 59, where they used to live back off of that road, like you're going to Oakland, down in there. It's a big horse barn down in that road now. Off from Longtown.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's why Beaver and them live down in there, and they used to have picnics. Mm-hmm.
Were there ever, did the bands ever play in Stanton?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
used to play at
Adam Chapel
Church.
Church.
Adam Chapel Church in Stanton.
And that was a picnic that going on
yeah,
there?
Yeah, picnic.
And his grandmother said there were trade days in Stanton.
Yes, it
Wow.
was. Mm-hmm.
Did the bands play there like they did in Mason, or was that just something they?
No.
My daddy
no.
never played in Stanton.
Mm-mm.
Not even trade day. We played at Adam Chapel Church.
I didn't get your name. Let me get your name.
That's my sister.
That's your sister. Okay.
Lola Humphrey.
Willola Humphrey. Okay,
Mhm.
just for the record of
Yeah,
this,
that's my sister.
because I'm documenting history here, and
Mhm.
this is stuff that needs to be preserved because you know, young people need to come behind and watch this and learn because they're not gonna know. So I guess where in Mason did these things go on, or did they? These picnics and bands playing?
Well,
On that Zodiac
Zodiac
Road.
Road.
It had a place off the Zodiac Road back across there. I don't know what the name it was. They used to play there. They had racetracks there, but I don't know what the name was.
I think I know what the name was. Was the man named Booster Pete?
Brewster Pete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody used to have it there. I know. I never did go there, but they used to go.
Somebody told me about Booster Pete's, and I've got a phone number for his son in Michigan. And yeah, but they apparently had horse races up there.
Horse race.
So, anything else I need to know about these bands? And
Well, I can't think of nothing else.
were they using manufactured drums, or did they make their own?
They use manufactured drums.
Yeah, I was curious about that too. Yep. And so how long did this continue before it just kind of disappeared, and why did it disappear?
Well,
It was going on before I was born.
I'm 86, and it was before I was born.
And after I was born, till they got too old.
Till they got too old.
Till they got too old and sick.
So that's what it was. They got too old and didn't want to continue it.
They couldn't. It was too old.
So why did the young people not pick up on?
Didn't nobody
want to take it up.
want to take that. Now I got some grandchildren now does it, but they do it in church. The drum work.
Yeah.
I got 2 grandsons do it.
Interesting.
One lives in Nashville.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the offspring of, I say, my father.
Right. So I know that one picture I've only seen one picture of the Fredonia band, and it was in the Brownsville States Graphic from the 1940s. And in that picture, the bass drum had a Masonic compass on the drum head. Was there like a Prince Hall Lodge in Fredonia at one time? Was there like a Masonic lodge
Yes,
there?
a Masonic Lodge was at Fredonia.
And was the band at one time maybe affiliated with that? Or?
Yes, my daddy was a Mason at one time.
Oh, okay. That's interesting because that's the only, this is the only fife and drum band that we've seen that might have had something to do with a Masonic lodge.
Well, my daddy was a Mason.
Interesting. And the only other thing I'd be curious about were there, because in Shelby County, these bands were hired by what were called benevolent societies or burial societies that people joined and paid their dues so that when they died, they would be buried. And they would hire these bands to play for their picnics and events as fundraisers. Were there those kind of societies in this area? Did they exist?
Well, I
never
really don't know.
It ended like the deacon I say of the church come high, or the principal at the school
would hire.
picnics come higher than the play.
So how late did this go on? Into the 70s maybe, or was it gone by the...
It was gone for the
70s. Ooh, I don't know how long it got. Well, he's played a little during the 50s, I know. But I don't forget. I know we're no longer than in the 50s, I know.
Yeah. So what was one of these typical picnics like? How long did it run, and was it an all weekend thing, or was it just...
No, just a day.
Just a day. Interesting. And people would sell food and drinks and...
Right. Some of them would have the horse race. Used to be something called a flying horse. People ride it. They was put up by Horace Macklin. Something called a flying horse. You pay a nickel a dime to ride the flying horse.
Wow.
That would be at these different picnics.
Sort of like a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Go out all the way around like that on a horse.
And so these were held pretty much around the Stanton and Mason area.
Yeah, around Mason.
Mason, I know you have been at Douglas School too over there.
Yeah. What about up toward Brownsville? Did they ever do it?
I never did no one.
And not down toward Somerville either, huh?
No.
Did you ever hear of a place called the Wagon Wheel near Oakland?
Yeah, I know where that is, Wagon Wheel, but they didn't ever go over there.
Yeah, never go over that far. Yeah. I believe there were fife and drum bands playing for picnics there, but I haven't found enough information about who they were playing over there or what it was all about yet. I'm hoping I do, but that's down toward Moscow and Macon on that
Macon.
end. Yeah. What about down like around Galloway and Braden? Was there anything?
Well, see, that was Moses there. The Broadnax would go that distant. Not my daddy. I never did know him to go no further.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's pretty much it then, but that's what I was trying. Anything else that I need to know?
No, that I know of.
Yeah. So what became of the drums?
Well, they just got destroyed. They got old and just come loose and whatnot. We kept on for a long time with them, but they just got so we couldn't handle them. They was just old, pull apart.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate your time and your willingness, both of y'all, to share this information. This is some of what I need for this paper. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.